Okay, collective, let's dive into part 2 of this download for the Virgo full moon, uh, with all that wild action going on, trine Pluto, asteroid Aphrodite, and Venus Mars conjunction in the mix. We have some big payoff energy in play with that 8 energy dynamic coming in. We have an opportunity to really manifest, to call into material reality our passion, our purpose, our deepest desires, but it requires us to really connect with ourselves, to not get so caught up in the drama and the distractions and, the push-pull energy around you, whether that's within your relationship, in your friendships, and just in the world in general, by all those things that are like pulling your attention away from really sinking into your heart, into your center, so you can honestly look at what you need to do, what you even want to do. Do you even know? Or have you been so caught up in the external fray that you're not even certain how you want to direct your energy? It's so important to drop back in with yourself right now. And we are going to look at the tarot and let it weigh in on what energies are coming forward over this next 2-week cycle as we build up to that new moon that will be on April Fools on April 1st. So now is the time to really plan ahead, okay? Work with that Virgo energy that's meticulous, that notes the details, that's aware of the steps that need to be taken in order to get something organized, It's good to have a foundation, some organization around your visions and dreams. It's like, otherwise it's just this lofty thing that always stays up in the ethers and it never gets grounded in reality. And with this oppositional energy in play, you do want to look at what conflicts with your desires and what you're trying to create, and what can you do practically to address that and nip it in the bud. So you can actually call in those visions that are speaking to your heart and speaking to your soul. So you can take that step that you may be scared to take, that may be on the deck for some of you. You may be realizing there's things in your life that you have to let go. And in order to move forward into a fresh cycle, you need to do some heavy releasing. That might be scary. How can you create support for yourself so you can really take the leap into your new potential, into a new reality for yourself moving forward, Just because something's always been a certain way doesn't mean it needs to stay like that. You always have your power of choice and you can affect positive change in the world, okay? And it begins with you. It begins with you. And if you get clear and if you get whole and if you heal yourself, if you believe in yourself, if you believe in your dreams, if you believe in your visions, and you carry that energy forward in the world, you're going to be bringing your best self to the table. It's going to have a ripple effect. It's going to uplift the energy of everybody you come into contact with. It's going to be how you fuel inspiration, not just for yourself to keep going, to keep expanding and growing, but also in all the people you interact with. The more you raise your own energy, and really step into your passion, your purpose, and your full potential, the more you bring that positive energy into the world. It really is true, and that's your piece to hold. That's the piece you need to be accountable for. So, fuck all the shit going on in the world that's at unrest right now. Stop focusing on the problem. What can you do to be part of the solution? And begin with you so you show up in the best way possible. This is a collective read, okay? So please be mindful that this is a shared space. Not every single message is going to be for you, okay? I'm reading for the whole collective right now, okay? But just tune into the themes and see how they apply to you. Listen to your intuition. Let it guide you in how these messages are speaking to you personally. I also will be calling out the signs. Again, don't get too attached. But it is helpful to kind of give an idea of the sort of energy in play when we're looking in terms of the signs. And when those court cards show up on the board, the pages, the knights, the queens, and the kings, the astrological signs are absolutely talking about players that are on the board. But you do need to remember that, they could just have that placement strongly aspected in their chart. You don't necessarily know everybody's natal chart, so don't get too hung up on it, okay? But I do throw them in because it can help you really get specific in reads, and a lot of times it will really ding for people. So I definitely do want to bring it in, and if that's what's coming through me, that's what I'm going to share. All right. Speaking of that, I do speak in terms of he, she, they, them, hoes, whatever. Don't get attached, okay? It's just energy. Apply it as you see fit, as it works for you. But I can't control what message needs to be delivered and in what way. And if the energy's coming through as masculine for me, it's coming through as masculine. Do you know a feminine who can be very masculine? I'm sure you do, okay? So, apply it where it fits for you, and just be open and enjoy the experience, okay? Enjoy the experience, and let's see what's coming in. So, Spirit, what messages do you have for the collective with this full moon in Virgo? What is coming in this cycle that's leading us into the spring, with the equinox coming up on the 20th and that new moon? Card went flying there. I'll have to see what that was. New moon that's coming up on the 1st. Oh, yep. We talked about that Plutonian energy, right? This moon is trine Pluto, all right? And we're doing that closing of the cycle, and we definitely see that's what's coming forward here, all right? With this 10 of Swords energy, all right? Big time Era energy, with the 10 of Swords. So, Era Collective in particular, I'm sure is really feeling this very powerfully. Just wrapping up old cycles. It feels like it's a completely new start, right? A completely new start. There's definitely this sense that, you've sort of seen the worst of it, and maybe you might be a little slap happy right now, where it's like, you know what, I've been through all that, and I'm still here, and I'm still kicking, and I still am showing up, and it can only go up from here. I mean, we know that with just the wheel of fortune, right? And the way that that karmic cycle works, what goes up must come down, and vice versa. It's nothing that any of us can ever avoid. We will always go through endings in our lives, but it's how we move through them. And I do want you to note, this figure here on this 10 of Swords, she's not struggling with these 10 of Swords. She's completely given herself over to it. Look, she's open to it. Look how she has her chest opened up. This is a very interesting depiction of the 10 of Swords, because often you see, the swords are in someone's back, but she has them all in the front, and she's not resisting it at all. She's totally open to it. She's saying yes to it. And this is a beautiful meditation through moving through the grief, the challenges, the really tough stuff in life that tests us, is to be able to say yes even to that. And that may seem so counterintuitive, but what we say yes to, just it flows through us without obstruction, and so we don't get stuck within that energy. We actually let it cycle through, and that opens the road so we can move forward into the new that's being created, because we see that within the 10, okay, an ending must always precede a new beginning. And a 10 is all that one energy, right? It's like, okay, we're about to hit the new beginning of that zero energy, right? With that full energy coming in. I mean, it's such full energy for the new moon to come in on April Fools, so right? So we're wrapping up the cycle. And yeah, there may be some remaining heaviness to let go of, you know? I am really getting this hit to like take it to the physical, you know, clear that energy out of your physical body with self care. Give yourself some salt scrubs, you know, just purify yourself of that old energy. Just scrub it away, you know, merging your intention with that action of physical care for your body. It's so powerful. And just let all that old energy run down the drain and wash away from you. Clean your house, you know, get into all the corners, you know, get under the bed, get into the closet, get into the places you don't normally look at, right? And let that be like a template, you know, for the inner work you're doing, to have the courage to actually look at those places inside that you've been ignoring and do the work and clear it out. What are you holding on to that you need to get rid of? You know, go through your clothes, go through your knickknacks, go through that stuff that you haven't touched, you know, all over the past year. Do you really need to hang on to it? And let it be symbolic of also moving into that energy in your life where you practice more discernment, because you want to travel light moving into this new cycle. That's coming through very strong. Sometimes less is more. There's going to be a lot coming in with this new cycle, more than you realize right now. You want to make room. You want to make room so you are not so overwhelmed and inundated that you can't take on anymore. 11:55 on the clock when I said that, okay? Big blessing energy coming in. Zeros are also all about spiritual gifts, okay? And the angels are definitely out there in droves. I mean, I know not everybody's an angel person, but I am. I love the angels. And, you know, there's definitely a lot of synchronicity in play right now. And there's this very much this like pull rabbit out of the hat energy, okay? Wild card energy, like anything can happen, all right? But in order to be receptive to it, you need to make some room. You need to let go of what's no longer serving you. Yeah, we see some real legit shit coming in here with this King of Pentacles energy, okay? That's big, you know, financial success, stability. So there's a lot of growth on deck, you know, coming in with the spring, you know, with this Ace of Pentacles energy this King is bringing in. This is definitely a point of arrival, you know? And we also have that real, you know, receptive energy with the Queen of Cups, okay? So Queen of Cups is you know, being in touch with your vision, being in touch with your psychic awareness, okay? You know, uh, in order to do that, you need to really lean into what you're feeling, right? And we've talked about this. It's all about coming into the body. If you get into your body through the physical care of your body, you're going to be able to move your emotions. You're going to be able to create a container, you know, to like hold what you're feeling and sink into it. You know, you're meant to lean into it right now. You're meant to dive into that ocean of emotion, to feel what you're feeling, to let it move you, and let it unwind you, you know, and that may be through a good cry. But as you get the emotions moving, you're going to start to access more of that sort of like, you know, that primal nature. I'm really thinking of like the ocean and how all this life, you know, was birthed from the ocean. And, you know, we're in the process of clearing out a Pisces season, okay? And so there's a lot that got stirred up emotionally. We looked at a lot of deep emotional stuff, you know, through Pisces season. So it's really about using these last couple, you know, these last few days we have, you know, to be in that Pisces energy, to definitely like merge with that feeling nature, and get really clear on what we're feeling, and how is our intuition guiding us? What is it saying to us? With these energies on the board, King of Pentacles, we're looking at Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus energies there. And with Queen of Cups, we're looking at Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer energies. These are players on the board. They are court cards. So, this message coming in really strong for you all, but certainly can apply to anybody that has, these aspected in their charts. We also see that there's been a real feeling of overwhelm here, okay? You're holding a lot of responsibility right now, trying to keep a lot of things together, but how much are you holding that's really yours to hold? And do you really notice what's going on here? It's like he wants to see growth in this, right? He wants to see growth, but he's holding so much that he can't tend to what he really wants to grow. And that's very symbolic of what's going on with the collective right now. You really need to look at where can I let some things go? And how am I investing in my energy? And flip the script a bit. You might be piecemealing yourself out too much, and there could be a real need to start investing more in yourself. And maybe you have some, shadow stuff you need to work through around that, where you think it's selfish to, pour your energy into yourself. But it's really not. It's really not. Because if you're not tending to yourself and then you're feeling resentment when you're giving to others, are you really giving them anything of quality, or are you putting some fuckery on them? You're putting some fuckery on them. You're giving from a place of emotional stinginess. And how can anything positive come from that? If you're feeling like you're kind of just halfway in, you don't think that translates to the people you're interacting with? Do you think that fosters good connections? Do you think that is going to make anything grow? It's not, so you do need to really look at, where am I taking on stuff that I don't want to be taken on, and how can I trim the fat? How can I, pare down what I'm doing? How can I streamline it? How can I simplify it? How can I work more efficiently so I can bring more balance into my life, and I have the ability to actually nurture and grow what I want to pour my energy into? And if you're not sure what you want to nurture and grow, spend some time getting in touch with that, which comes in with this Virgo full moon, with the Hermit energy, archetypal energy working here. We're all moving through this Virgo energy right now, which is all about, shining that light within, using the light to illuminate what is dark within, so you can see it with clarity and get very, very, very clear on how you want to move forward in your path. This is quieting out the distractions so you can let your spirit inform, your next steps. It's so essential, so important. I pulled up two. And, it brings wish fulfillment here, with the Nine of Cups and the Judgment coming right in with that. So we know this is the answer, right? If you want to see that fulfillment of your desires, of your wishes, those things you want to grow, and your visions in this next cycle, you really have to look at your personal responsibility and what you've chosen to take on. And if it's not working for you, or you feel overburdened by it, it's up to you to pare things down, do some letting go, close those relationships that just take and don't give anything back and aren't fulfilling you. It's really important. Maybe that means leaving a job. You might be looking to make a move, a residential move. There's many different ways that this energy can manifest, but somewhere you're investing in people, places, and things that aren't really doing it for you, and are actually distracting you from your true purpose. So I'm getting quite a few cards coming out here, and it's really interesting. There's a card that flipped over and it stayed in the deck, and I have a feeling it's gonna bring in something interesting here. So let's go ahead and see what it wants us to look at. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is so beautiful because it came in. I love it. It came in with the channeled message, and the card that had flipped over, it was this temperance energy. Okay, so Sagittarius energy here. And we do see this balanced energy flow between the Two of Cups that this, temperance is holding. And we know that, romantic feeling and desire and passion, and also the tendency to be impulsive in those areas, is definitely forefront with this full moon, with the energies in play, with that, Venus Mars conjunction. It can lead to impulsivity. And with the Plutonian energies in play, there's also the tendency to sometimes act out of the shadow of our nature, the place inside of us that sabotages ourselves. So, really consider that. How you hold your self back in connecting with others too. Just with that Two of Cups influence there is really speaking strongly to me of that, of the relationship component, the romantic component that's coming in with this full moon. So, where's the balance in your relationships? Is there a good give and take? How do you sabotage, your relationships? It doesn't just have to be romantic. Where is their push-pull dynamics? And this is really about bringing that balance back in. And you notice that this dancer is standing on a diamond, so it's that refining process, right? Refining the diamond, it comes through being pressurized. So it's about working with that pressure in a constructive way to release that tension so you can gain that clarity, right, of the diamond, and you can understand your value. You can stand on that, and you can also understand your peace and how you show up, and bring in that balancing, tempering energy. If somebody's coming at you with fire, if they're being aggressive, if they're being dramatic, it's so important to bring in that counterbalancing energy to that, to find the middle, so bring some softness, throw them off, bring in a little receptivity, and it helps even things out. Sometimes at 22:44 on the clock when I said that, sometimes we have to kind of move through these extremes to find center. But if somebody's coming at you aggressively and then you add more aggression to the mix, it's just going to boil over and there's no resolution. There is no finding that balance. So we have this, beautiful balancing energy coming in with the Temperance card to help us work through these times. And it is about doing that balancing work, and having a look at, the ways that we sabotage ourselves, okay, with this Page of Swords energy. Again, this may be a very important message for air signs with this Page of Swords energy. Pages often represent young people too, so I do want to say this could be like that inner child stuff, like the young you air signs, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, the places inside of you that felt unfulfilled as a child, that didn't get your needs met, that didn't have your desires fulfilled, and the ways that those energies can still be kind of holding you back and sabotaging you. So look a lot, air signs, at the messages you received growing up. What did they tell you was possible for you in terms of your success and what you could achieve and what was meant for you in this life? And that's really where a lot of your work is, for sure. But this applies to everybody, collective. This is really about being aware of the subconscious impulses, the things that cause you to act out in old patterns and that hold you back from the success you want to see, or, that relationship that's a mutual give and take that's supportive, or, anything that prevents you from going after your dreams and making them a reality. And we see if you bring temperance, that balance, okay? Just want to show this here. If you bring in that balancing energy of the temperance, to balance out these subconscious tendencies, or maybe some you're even becoming conscious of, these sabotaging patterns. If you balance this energy out, we see victory with the Six of Wands. This is a wonderful, sign of success. Very positive, all right? We do see that right now, the issue is that there's some things that you need to be moving away from, okay? Because you're juggling too much. We got Two of Pentacles reversed. That's really out of balance. Not juggling things very well. You got your hands too full. You've taken on too much. Some things need to be let go. Simplification makes things very clear. Sometimes we take on too much because we're really afraid of, sentience. We're really afraid of making a firm choice, right? So we overcomplicate things by creating too many options. We bring too many people into situations, all right? And really, it's time to move away from this energy, because it's just throwing everything out of balance. So there's definitely a need to bring in the balancing energy here. We see that with the Six of Swords energy here. You're meant to move away from that, okay? It's time to really bring your life into balance. And whether that has to do with your health, your wealth, or your love life, you really need to look at where is there imbalance. And what is your peace in that? Stop looking at the problem. It's time to focus on the solution. What can you do to move away from that energy? It's pointless to look at what the other person is doing, the choices they're making. If you're staying in this place, this like blame game, well, they did this and they said that, and then they made me have to do this because of this choice they made. You're living your life from a victim stance. You need to move out of that. And I'm not saying that you can't ever go through something really horrible in life. You absolutely can, okay? You absolutely can. And sometimes, you just connected with the wrong fucking person, man. And you weren't seeing clearly, and most of the time, it's a matter of you didn't acknowledge the red flags, okay? And this can be with a person, place, situation, all right? But it's your responsibility to bring your life back into balance when you veered from your path by making an unconscious choice. You can't put that on anybody. So right now, it's really time for you to be honest with yourselves about where have you allowed things to become out of balance, where you're doing all the giving and another is doing all the taking, or where you're investing all your energy in something and it's just not giving you anything in return, and your heart's not even in it. You don't even feel on board, you don't have that resonance. It's so important to move away from that energy now and look at what you need to do on a practical level to turn that around. We have that temperance energy working on our side. And again, we see that, the holdup is that there has been this defensiveness with this Nine of Wands in reverse energy. And this gives us a clue about what we need to do to move that energy out of the way. We need to drop those defenses. We have to stop expecting the worst is around the corner. We have to stop living our life on guard, like expecting that, something horrible is going to happen to us, or what we invest our energy in isn't going to play out the way we hope it will. We need to stop living out of that past mindset where we're mired in things that have happened to us or been done to us, and understand that we have a choice how we approach life. We can approach life from a place of no, which blocks our path and cuts off our blessings, or we can approach our lives with a spirit of yes, where we say yes and we accept everything that shows up on our path, even the difficult experiences. And when we do, we move into a place of receptivity, and that allows us to receive the blessings. It allows us to be directed to the right course of action, the path we're meant to be on, that actually will deliver our fulfillment and connect us with our passion and purpose. But we have to be willing to trust enough to let down the defenses. And if we do that, give it about 8 weeks, 2 months time, things are really going to start moving. There's going to be a lot of synchronicity, a lot of messages coming in, a lot of new opportunities. Love is going to begin to bloom even within existing relationships, and there's going to be much cause for celebration. So do the work, collective. Put in the energy. Things are getting ready to move, and make sure that you are ready to pick up and go, because you're going to need to travel.